Okay, for this particular tutorial, what we want to do is we're going to be looking at importing an already existing animation which was hand drawn on paper, import it into toonboon, vectorize it, and get it to work for us. So it's a really simple solution to something that is that enables you to bring in lots of different approaches to animation onto the one coherent approach. This is something that we've already covered in a tutorial to do with toonboon Animate Pro version 2, but the tools, the approaches to the processes are slightly different. So we'll be covering that. So to start with, what we want to do is to introduce a different layer, a new layer, and very simply I'll go to the first frame of the new layer and right click on it. That gives me options to lots of different options. The one that I'm looking for is import and vectorize, and go to from file, which we'll get this option here. So I know where that's kept. It's the same file that I used for the tutorial for Animate Pro. And it's a little girl's walk cycle. So there's about 17 images, so I'm going to shift select the last image. So I've selected all the JPEGs from that folder. I'm going to hit open, and again we'll get we have this sort of a menu opened up, and I can actually hit preview to see what I'm going to get. Quite happy with that, so I'm just going to hit OK. And that will bring in those frames one at a time across the timeline, so that they're placed central to to our stage. And also, apart from that, let me just hit 2 to see. Let's just have a closer look at this. So now what we have got here now is it's the 17 frames across the timeline, and I can hit play on that, and you'll see that the character walking, which is a little bit too fast. So we can actually slow that down. If I go to my first frame, select the first, shift select the last, again right click, set exposures to 2, which will give each drawing 2 frames, expose it across 2 frames. And if I roll back and play, I'm getting a much better, I'm going to hit loop here as well, I'm getting a much better animation cycle happening for me here. All right, so that's as simple and as easy as that. Slightly different to the other software, the other toonboon software. So, but it works in exactly the same way. So, in a lot of ways, all the tools that we find in Animate Pro are on this version as well, except that they represent themselves in a slightly different way. That's the end of this lesson.